Prabhuji, we have to start 10.3, Prabhuji.
Okay, 10.3. Let's do that. Okay. Yo mam ajam anadim cha vetti lokam maheshwaram asammudaha samartyeshu sarva papaihi pramuchyate. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of all worlds, he only, undiluted among men, is freed from all sins. Right? So we should know Krishna as the unborn, as the beginningless, as supreme Lord of all worlds. Then we'll be undiluted, means we'll not be confused. I wanted to show on LinkedIn.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Yes. Go ahead.
My daughter wanted to join yoga, so she joined from India, so she's also there.
Okay, let's repeat the shloka then. But I just wanted to show how people can be deluded. Even if you have knowledge, like, there is a conversation that's going on LinkedIn. So there is this pujari from an Indian temple, potentially from a Brahmanical background. He made a very nice statement, actually. Which is not so nice, but it is still nice. In that I had an opportunity to kind of respond to him. So this is Hitendra Jain, who is one of the teachers in one of the colleges in India. So he said, I still wish to know the figure of 60,000 years of Dasharath rules to Ayodhya arrived. He passed away when Prabhu Sri Ram left Ayodhya. So he would have ruled Ayodhya before that only. Aja ruled till death. So when King Dasharath ruled, how to authenticate this point? So his point was that maybe this 60,000 number from the Ramayana is incorrect. So I added a response to him, but for some reason the response vanished now. I think looks like LinkedIn didn't take my response. I added a response. I wanted to show it to you guys, but looks like that's gone. And there is one more person, Alok Avasti. He's saying, at least talk some sense. You ISKCON people will never stop corrupting history. Learn Nyay Darshan before talking about history. I don't know what Nyay Darshan is, but there are so many types of people. They are very, very confused with regards to this. So I wrote to Kritika Mataji, and she did some research for me. I asked her to do some research from Ramayana, and she came back to me with this answer. Okay. So these are this, Radhika Gopinath Das. So I asked her to research this topic of 60,000 years. So she came back with this answer. If people in Treta Yuga live for 10,000 years, that is absolutely normal. King Dasharath himself stated that Lord Rama was born when he was 60,000 years old. So Dasharath was 60,000 years old, believe it or not. How do we know this? Sasti Varsha Sahasrani Jatasya Mama Kaushika Krichena Utpaditaha Cha Ayam Na Ramam Netum Arhasi. Right? So Shashti Varsha Sahasrani. Sahasrani means 1,000. Shashtihi, just like they say Shashti Purti, when somebody finishes 60 years and they do a little bit of ceremony. So Shashti Varsha Sahasrani. After 60,000 years, Rama was born to me, O descendant of King Kusha, Vishwamitra. So he is saying, Oh Vishwamitra, after 60,000 years I had a son. So please don't take Rama away. And then he also says, Prapya Varsha Sahasrani Bahu Nyayumsi Jivataha Jirnasya Sarirasya Vishranti Mabi Rochaye. So the next day on the Pushya Nakshatra, the Lord went to forest with Sitama and Lakshmana. Sumantra returned after 5 days. When he learned from Guha and his spies on the Lord, Mother and Lakshmana crossed the Yamuna, and we are residing in Chitrakuta. Dasharath passed 6 days away after the Lord's departure to the forest because he couldn't be separated, bear separation from Lord Rama for 14 years. Considering his age, 14 years is nothing. 60,000 years was his age, right? And in the end, Lord Rama says, Dashavarsha Sahasrani, Dashavarsha Satanicha, Vatyamsi Manushya Loke, Palayam Pridvim Imam. So I will do Palan of this Manushya Loka for how long? For Dashavarsha Sahasrani, means 1000 after 10,000. That means 10,000 plus 1,000 is 11,000. I shall live on the planets of human and shall protect it. So going back to these statements by this Vedic spiritual guru, Jyotish, psychologist, Vastu consultant. So he's a professional Brahmana. He's saying this is nonsense. He doesn't agree with 60,000 of, Dasharath's rule. And one other person came and said, it is wrong information. If you combine all 4 yugas, are not more than 26,000 years. That is not true, because in Bhagavad Gita, it says the 4 yugas come to 4.32 million years. So the reason I wanted to bring this up is because how people are deluded, confused, right? So only when we understand Krishna as Aja, means unborn, and beginningless, means somebody who is Adi Purusham. He doesn't have a beginning. He is the beginning. And as the supreme Lord of the 3 worlds, means Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, only such a person is freed from all sins. So what happens is, even you may be born in a Brahmin family, you may be, well-versed, Vishnu Sahasranam, you will recite right, left, and center. But still, if you have some sins from the past, the Lord will cover your knowledge up. Means you'll be reading the book, but you'll not get the clear answer. Right? So sin acts like a curtain. So sin acts like avidya. So vidya means knowledge, avidya means lack of knowledge. So sin actually acts as a curtain around you. So this is very important to understand. So it is not so easy to, come to random conclusions or scriptural conclusions. One has to go through scripture, read it properly, and have some kind of piety or purity to understand what is being said in the scripture. Okay. So Nitin, please read this purport.
Sure, Prabhuji. As stated in the 7th chapter, Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschit Yatati Siddhaye, those who are trying to elevate. Can you hear me, Prabhuji?
Yes, loud and clear. Go ahead.
Those who are trying to elevate themselves to the platform of spiritual realization are not ordinary men. They are superior to millions and millions of ordinary men who have no knowledge of spiritual realization. But out of those actually trying to understand their spiritual situation, one who can come to the understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the proprietor of everything, the unborn, is the most successful spiritually realized person. In that stage only, when one has fully understood Krishna's supreme position, can one be free completely from all sinful reactions. Here the Lord is described by the word Aja, meaning unborn, but he is distinct from the living entities who are described in the 2nd chapter as Aja. The Lord is different from the living entities who are taking birth and dying due to material attachment. The conditioned souls are changing their bodies, but his body is not changeable. Even when he comes to this material world, he comes as the same unborn. Therefore, in the 4th chapter, it is said that the Lord, by his internal potency, is not under the inferior material energy, but is always in the superior energy. In this verse, the words Veti Loka Maheshwaram indicate that one should know that Lord Krishna is the supreme proprietor of the planetary systems of the universe. He was existing before the creation, and he is different from his creation. All the demigods were created within this material world, but as far as Krishna is concerned, it is said that he is not created. Therefore, Krishna is different even from the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva. And because he is the creator of Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods, he is the supreme person of all planets. So Krishna is therefore different from everything that is created, and anyone who knows him as such immediately becomes liberated from all sinful reactions. One must be liberated from all sinful activities to be in the knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Only by devotional service can he be known and not by any other means, as stated in Bhagavad Gita.
So this is a very key point. One must be liberated from all sinful activities to be in the knowledge of Supreme Lord. So it's a catch-22 situation, right? So you should be free from sin to understand who God is, right? But then we all have sin. So how do we understand who God is? So gradually we have to eradicate our sin, right? By chanting Hare Krishna mantra, by fasting on Ekadasi. Tomorrow is Ekadasi. So no grains, no beans, only potatoes, vegetables, fruits, milk, as much as you want. But no grains and no beans. Ekadasi, there is a story about Ekadasi where, the Lord gives that permission that, sin will hide in grains and beans. So other things, sin will not hide. So that day you can be free of sin if you don't eat grains and beans. Grains means rice, wheat, there's so many other things, ragulu, sazzalu, everything. That is all grains. And then beans is like any kind of bean, right? From the smallest bean to the largest bean, kidney beans, rajma, all those things are called beans. So anyway, coming back to this one must be liberated from all sinful activities to be in knowledge of the Supreme Lord. So how do we do it? We reduce sin by 10%. So we are 90% sinful. We get a little bit understanding of the Lord. Then we reduce sin by another 10%. We are 80% sinful. 20% we have understanding of the Lord. So gradually sin meter goes down and knowledge of the Lord meter goes up. So by the time of liberation or by the time of death, if we are completely sinless, then liberation becomes our birthright. So we can get liberated like that. Okay, continue.
One should not try to understand Krishna as a human being. As stated previously, only a foolish person thinks him to be a human being. This is again expressed here in a different way. A man who is not foolish, who is intelligent enough to understand the constitutional position of the Godhead, is always free from all sinful reactions. If Krishna is known as the son of Devaki, then how can he be unborn? That is also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. When he appeared before Devaki.
Actually, pause there for a moment. So here's one more trick that is given. One who is intelligent enough to understand the constitutional position. What is a constitution? Constitution of the United States says that you have these, different unalienable rights for life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And what are those? Freedom of speech, for example, the very first, constitutional right. So you are free to say anything in America, right? In some countries, if you say something, your head will be cut off, especially in Muslim countries. So yeah, we are fortunate to be in America where we have freedom of speech like that. So constitution means a set of hierarchies, rules, frameworks, processes. So if we understand the constitutional position of Godhead, that Krishna is the supreme and all the devatas are serving him and all the gurus are showing us the path to either devatas or to the Supreme Lord, in that constitutional hierarchy, if you understand that, then we'll become free from sinful reactions. So this is one of the trick. One trick is, fasting on Ekadasi, worshipping the Tulasi plant, chanting Hare Krishna mantra, which actually burns volumes of sin, meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. Whenever you are, a little tired, just think of the feet of the Lord. Like lot of temples, what they do, they send to their congregation pictures of feet of the Lord, not the face, but the feet. Because they're saying if you meditate on the feet, your sins will get eliminated. And this is the fifth technique, right? So just understanding who Krishna is in the hierarchy. Krishna is not a human being when he descends as a human form, but he is actually the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Means he is the, Ishvara of all the lokas, multiple lokas. This is just one loka we live in. There's so many other lokas, right? So all these purports of Srila Prabhupada, he said that these are my devotional ecstasies, and these came directly when he was in contact with the Lord. So we have to understand all the tricks and tips are given here. If you do these 5 things, all the sins will be going away. And if all the sins are gone at the point of death, you will not go to Yamaloka. You'll go to Krishna Loka. Like that. Okay, continue.
When he appeared before Devaki and Vasudeva, he was not born as an ordinary child. He appeared in his original form and then he transformed himself into an ordinary child. Anything done under the direction of Krishna is transcendental. It cannot be contaminated by material reactions which may be auspicious or inauspicious. The conception that there are things auspicious and inauspicious in the material world is more or less a mental concoction because there is nothing auspicious in this material world. Everything is inauspicious because the very material nature is inauspicious. We simply imagine it to be auspicious. Real auspiciousness depends on activities in Krishna consciousness in full devotion and service. Therefore, if we at all want our activities to be auspicious, then we should work under the directions of the
Okay,
Supreme Lord.
pause there. Here's technique 6 given here. If we at all want our activities to be auspicious, we should work under the directions of the Supreme Lord. Means don't make your own rules. Follow the rules given in the Bhagavad Gita. So if you make your own rules, they won't work. So if you want our activities to be auspicious, means Shubha. Inauspicious means Ashubha. Then we have to work under the directions of the Supreme Lord. So that is the 6th point. Okay, keep going.
Such directions are given in authoritative scriptures such as Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita or from a bona fide spiritual master. Because the spiritual master is the representative of the Supreme Lord, his direction is directly the direction of the Supreme Lord. The spiritual master, saintly persons, and scriptures direct in the same way.
Yeah,
There
so
is
this
no
is
contradiction.
this is another important point. So how do we know what truth is? It should come from spiritual master, means guru in the sampradaya, bona fide sampradaya, not some made up sampradaya, saintly persons, other acharyas, and scriptures. So this is called the triangle of verification. Triangle has 3 konas. That's why the science of triangles is called trikonamati in Sanskrit, from which the name trigonometry came.
Trigonometry.
Yeah. So what are the 3 konas? One is spiritual master, second is saintly person, sadhus, and third is scriptures. And all 3 should agree. If all 3 agree on one point, then that point is correct. So if only spiritual master says it, scripture says it, but other sadhus doesn't say it, then you have to research further, go further deep. It's not like the scripture is wrong, but our understanding of the scripture is wrong, like that. So that's why Prabhupada says there is no contradiction in these 3 sources. If there is a contradiction, means one of the 3 is not presenting the information correctly, or more importantly, our inability to understand that, right? So instead of always, when you point a finger at someone, 3 fingers are pointing at us, right? So when you say, oh, somebody is wrong, then you have to say, all right, maybe my understanding is wrong. Let me go and do a deeper study of the scriptures, or associate more closely with the guru, spiritual master, or other sadhus to find out. It's not just like, oh, go to Gaya or Kasi and just hang around with sadhus, but not really learn from them. The whole idea of going to a spiritual place is learn from them. And they will, every one of them will have one angle, right? Not everybody is expert in everything. So somebody may be good at yoga, physical yoga. Somebody may be good at pranayama. Somebody may be good at karma yoga. Somebody may be good at bhakti, like that. So you'll get bits and pieces from all of these different sources. And when you put them all together, ultimate goal is only one thing. Understand Krishna is the Supreme, that we should surrender to Him and gradually reduce our sin. So it is sin management, actually. Our whole life is managing sin. And then at the point of death, we remember Krishna, and then we get liberated and go back to Krishna. But if you don't manage sin properly, if you increase sin by like eating meat, drinking alcohol, engage in illicit sex outside of marriage, gambling or philosophical speculation. Gambling is, one is physical gambling, like in the stock market or in a game of cards. Second is mental gambling. Mental gambling is actually more dangerous. Oh, maybe God is like this. That's it. Finish. You have not taken shelter of Guru. You have not taken shelter of scriptures, the Shastra, and you made up your own stuff. And if there are 1 or 2 other fools, all 3 of the fools agree, then that becomes the law, right? Prajavake kartavyam. So just like majority, so let me ask you this question. If majority agree on something, is that right?
No.
Why?
because it might not be from the correct source. I mean, it might be speculation of someone who's, and they're building of other speculation.
Yeah. What about others? Anybody else has a different viewpoint?
It's not always correct, because the majority can agree on something that is wrong, because someone would have taught them that it's correct even though it's wrong.
Okay. So here's an exercise. Who spoke just now?
Yoga.
Yoga. Okay, nice yoga.
And
Yeah, I know you joined from India. That's good. So here is a essay, right? I'm giving you a homework, all of you. Opinion of majority is not the final proof of what is right. Right? Each one of you has to write an essay and send it to me. This is my essay. I already wrote it. So the sentence means that if majority of the people have an opinion, then it must be correct. I believe this is not true. Majority of the people felt during Ptolemy's time that Earth is flat. So it was deemed right till Copernicus stated otherwise, right? So people said Earth is flat. But Madhvacharya's disciple Vadiraja, he said that many, 1500, 1300 years ago, that Earth is round. There's a book called Bhugola Varnanam, right? But then the Western scientists in the West, they used to always think that Earth is flat. Till somebody came and said, no, Baba, Earth is actually round. So there's also this phrase, tyranny of the majority. If majority, prajavakya kartavyam, if majority of the people say that, donkey has only 3 legs, then people say, yes, donkey only has 3 legs. Right? This is called the tyranny of the majority. So majority of the members of one party can result in tyranny of majority. That's why John Adams and James Madison, who are one of our founding fathers of American Constitution, what they said, we need to have the 2-party system. Not only 2-party system, but like the upper house and lower house, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha in India, the Senate and the Congress in the United States, so that there are checks and balances, right? For example, Croatians and Slovenians, they killed Bosnians in former Czechoslovakia because they said, oh yeah, majority, only Christians are superior, so we should kill all the Muslims. And the opposite is happening in Pakistan. Only Muslims are superior, so Hindus should be finished. So majority doesn't mean it is correct. Same thing in Germans, right? Most Germans went to World War II on Hitler's instigation. Does this mean they were right? No, they were not right. They just got brainwashed by Hitler, and then everybody followed Hitler like that. So yeah, do an exercise if you have time. I know some of you have not even finished chapter 5 test. Some have not written chapter 6 test. I have to send chapter 7 test right now. So only Gopal.
Prabhu,
Yeah, sir. Yes, ma'am.
quick question. This is Disha, by the way.
Yeah.
The rule of majority is not right. It can be taken as two-faced coin, because if we are sitting in a majority group of all the learned and all the scholars, and all the facts are checked and double checked, and everything is double checked, then that is true, right?
Yeah, that is true, and that's why I have this statement here.
What your sangat is.
Yeah. See, some cases are different. Say if you have 50 equally qualified and intellectual capable scientists voting on presence of a soul, the majority vote is probably right in this case. Right?
Yep.
Everybody should be qualified.
Yeah.
They should have proper education.
I would actually argue that too, because just because they are intellectually capable, without the actual proof or facts, it is still a perception, right? So we cannot rely on people's perceptions and thoughts. There has to be some sort of proof if we are going to say it is right.
Yeah, actually, you bring up a very good point.
Intelligence,
most of the scientific
also comes
most of the scientific discoveries that are called discoveries right now are all perceptions. Most of them are perceptions, right? Till now, they could not find out what COVID is, neither the genetic sequence, nor what causes it, nor what the result is. So it's just a very difficult situation right now. What can we do? This is exactly what I said in my LinkedIn in a response to one of Hitendra Jain's statement, which got wiped out for some reason, or maybe it's not. Let me show you. Yeah. The second part got wiped out. That's interesting. Yeah. So most of the scientists are making speculative guesses right now. Most of them, right? Every day they change the theory. Oh, maybe this is what's causing COVID. Maybe you should have this mask. Now today they are saying have cloth mask because nobody knows, right? So science grows by observation, and after a lot of people die, then they will finally come to a conclusion. Scriptures, on the other hand, have already done all that research and come to the final conclusion, right? What is the final conclusion? Disease is bad, body causes disease, so get out of the body and get liberated once and for all, right? But that science is not proven yet because scientists still are not intellectually capable of coming to that level yet. Maybe someday they will, but today they are not there. Today they are still struggling with the basics. What are the basics? Oh, the body is having disease, so we have to symptomatically solve that disease. If the problem is in the ear, just fix the ear. There is no holistic treatment, right, in the Western science. So the Eastern science said, oh, where is the problem in the ear coming from? Because of some toxins in your body. Where are the toxins coming from? In the tummy. And why are the toxins coming from in the tummy? Because of overeating or undereating or so many other reasons. So fix the problem there, right? Same thing with acupuncture. If you have a problem in the ear, they won't poke your ear like the Western doctors. What they do, they go to your spine and put a pin in one of the various nadis in the spine to cure that, right? So Western science is a ways to go. I'm not really thrilled with Western science, by the way, because a lot of the things are bits and pieces. South Korea and United States had COVID on the same day, believe it or not. I was reading the news today. Only 186 people died in South Korea. What is the death toll in the United States today? Anybody know? Something above 6,000, close to
7,000. 7,000
7,000.
plus. Yeah.
How much is it?
7,000 plus.
7,000. See? So what is it that South Koreans know that Americans don't know? We are supposed to be the richest country with the most universities, with the most PhDs, Silicon Valley, Harvard Medical School, and then yet we don't know how to stop this epidemic. So South Koreans followed a very different approach in their tradition. Each contact, they sat down with them, interviewed them, and they said, okay, trace your path. What did you do 1 month ago? What did you do 29 days ago? What did you do 28 days ago? Who did you touch? Who did you talk to? And then they quarantined just about everybody that these people were in contact with. That's it. Na rahegi baas, na bajegi basuri. The Hindi saying, right? There is no sign of anything. There is no music. Everything was nipped in the bud. And we Americans, we are struggling. Although we claim to be very intelligent, we are struggling to nip this thing down, right? So it's just like, because we are very smart doesn't mean we are going to solve all the problems. So scientists have a long way to go. That is my conclusion after seeing so many things in the last 25 years in United States. Okay, let's get back to Bhagavad Gita. So there is no contradiction. There should not be a contradiction between the three sources. Spiritual master, guru, who is again reading scriptures only. Spiritual master is not making up his own stories. Saintly persons, they are not making up their own stories. They are also reading scriptures and they're experiencing this in the heart, right? So who is called saintly? Who has read the scriptures and practically experiences that in their daily lives. And saints are not there only in the Vedic tradition, right? You have Sufi saints. They would actually look at a person's face and predict what will happen. They would walk on hot coals and their legs will not get burnt. Jesus was also such a saint, right? Mystic saint. He would walk on water. How can anybody walk on water? So there are anima and lagima techniques. So with that, you can become lighter than the feather by that yogic power. So a feather will float on water, right? So same way Jesus walked on water. The Sufi saints walked in on the coals, hot coals, and nothing happened to their legs. So there is no contradiction actually. The contradiction comes because of a lack of our understanding. As we uncover more and more things, we will get smarter and smarter. Okay, now Nitin, please read.
All actions done under such direction are free from the reactions of pious or impious activities of this material world. The transcendental attitude of the devotee in the performance of activities is actually that of renunciation, and this is called sannyasa.
Yeah, pause there for a moment. So, Bhagavad Gita is not a day-to-day living book. Yes, it is in a certain level. But what does Bhagavad Gita teach? How to gradually come to the platform of renunciation, whether through Karma Yoga or Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Raja Yoga, any type of yoga. Goal is renunciation. So in chapter 18, Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, means give up all dharmas. Dharma of a mother, dharma of a father, dharma of a citizen, dharma of a king, dharma of a pauper, dharma of a doctor, and mamekam sharanam braja. Simply surrender unto me. Aham tam for sarva papebhyo mokshisyami masuchaha. I will remove all your papa, sin, and I'll give you moksha. Done. Very, very simple deal, right? Give up all activity other than worshipping me, and I will give you moksha. By doing what? Removing your sin. And as a process of doing this bhakti, our sin is getting reduced. So maybe I had 110% sin 16 years ago when I started this process. Now it's probably come down to 90%, and before I die it will probably come down to 30%. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he'll say, okay, I'll give you some grace marks. Okay, I'll chop off the remaining 30% and I will admit you, because it is almost impossible to get rid of all sin, right? Because we are swimming in sin. There's so many activities. Anything you do is sinful, right? If you wear a mask, it is sinful. If you don't wear a mask, it is sinful. If you take a medicine, it's sinful. If you don't take a medicine, it's sinful. Because when you take an antibiotic, you are killing bad bacteria, but you're also killing good bacteria. Now that's also a sin, right? When you work in Microsoft and develop Bing, and somebody uses the Bing to search for pornography and they watch pornography, you're also part of that sin. So it's almost impossible to get rid of sin. That's why we need that grace marks to finally chop off all the remaining sin and give us liberation. So renunciation is the main theme of Bhagavad Gita. I mean, it talks about so many other topics, hundreds of topics, but the main theme is renunciation. By the time of death, I want to renounce everything. And it is possible. That's why the Vedic system is fantastic, because 0 to 25 brahmacharya, 25 to 50 grihastha, 50 to 75 vanaprastha, 75 to 100 sannyasa. So, and till 50, you are allowed to enjoy life. After that, gradually give up. Okay. Why? Because your kids are already ready. Okay, kids, now you take over the show. Like in the old movies they saw, right? With the music, and then the mother will give the locker keys to the daughter or son. Now from today, you run the family. I am taking a back seat, right? You've seen all this in so many Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada movies. So that kind of gradual giving away is 100% essential. Otherwise, if we die with all our thoughts and desires, what does Buddha say? Desire is the root cause of all misery. So you will take birth again and again be miserable. I mean, this is not fun. I mean, if somebody thinks that COVID-19 is fun, then I don't know what else to tell them. You are all cooped up like rabbits in a cage. We are all at home using internet to communicate, right? It's not easy. So we are all jailed in our own homes. So if not this, something else. Like if you look at the pattern, right, every 10 years, there is some nonsense going on. Year 2000, Osama bin Laden bombed those 2 tall towers in New York. Whole economy crashed. Then 2008, 2009, housing crisis, whole economy crashed. And now again, whole economy is crashing. This is worse than actually the 2008, 2009. You know why? Back then, only 691,000 people applied for unemployment. As of yesterday, something like 9.5 or 9.6 million applied for unemployment. So this is 10 times more dangerous than 2008 crash, right? That's why Krishna says, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. This material world is a place of misery. Get out as soon as possible. And Srila Prabhupada used a very, gross example. He said, a gentleman doesn't stay in the toilet longer than necessary. Right? You go to the toilet, you quickly release whatever needs to be released, you wash and come out. It's not like, oh my God, the toilet is so beautiful, let me hang around here. So same thing is said of material world. We need to think of this place as a miserable place and get out as soon as possible. So otherwise, the place will start stinking, as it is stinking. If it's not COVID, it's Bovid or something, right? Like my son was saying, Daddy, if it's not Corona, it will be Borona. There'll always be some problem. So that is reality. I mean, it's never going to be easy on this. So renunciation is something that we need to practice, right? Just like if you want to go to Olympics and you start running, every day you'll run maybe 10 meters more than yesterday. You keep on running, and finally you go to Olympics and you run the 10-mile marathon, right? Same thing. You have to do it every day. You have to improve little bit. It's not too much, little bit, maybe 2 inches. You improve 2 inches compared to yesterday. And by the time of death, we should ideally be totally renounced. Renounced means what? Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yukta Vairagyam Uchyate. If something is not related to God, give it up. If something is related to God, don't give it up. For example, if you have $1 million, you say, I don't want this $1 million, and you throw it in some trash can. That is foolishness. No. If it can be used for the service of Krishna, use it. Just like Rekha built some temples, Rekha's family built some temples in Andhra or Tamil Nadu. Why? Because they had some money, they built some temples. Right? So each one of us should use some wealth to a point that you have nothing. I mean, nothing to call your own. You still have the temple that you can look at, or you still have other devotees that you have cultivated. Like a guru, what does he have? He has $0 in his bank, $0 in his pocket. But what does he have? He has disciples who will give their life for him like that, right? Whatever Guru says stand, they stand. Guru says sit down, they sit down. So that is even more powerful than simply money, right? Money comes and goes, but that is more powerful. So that is what we should aspire for. So as we go from 10th chapter onwards, the message becomes more and more tougher. And it's not easy to digest actually. You may say, oh, no, I will do 50% renunciation and 50% I'll pursue my career. And Indians are very good at this. Like if you look at Western devotees like Daniel, he quit his job and he joined the temple full time. Right? He said, I'm fully convinced I want to surrender to Krishna. So he gave up everything. He basically got a sleeping bag. He sleeps in the temple in the night. He wakes up in the morning, goes to Mangalarti, and he takes care of food truck, food distribution, things like that. But we Indians are very chalu. What do? 50% here, 50% there. Somebody had something to say? Yeah, so we are very chalu. So we say, Krishna, 50% renunciation for you, yaar, and 50% is for myself. I want to get promoted to be a director at Microsoft. I want, I just want 2 homes. No, I don't want 20 homes, Krishna, just 2 homes. And I want 3 cars. And you know what? I might even want a flat in Hyderabad or in Mumbai or in Delhi. Once I finish all this, then I'll come to you. So we have to get out of that attitude. Any questions, thoughts?
Prabhuji, I have a very, might sound like a dumb question, but someone who's just starting to read this, read Bhagavad Gita, I'm asking from that perspective. So when Arjun is giving up his duty and he says, I don't want to fight, Lord Krishna tells him, you should follow your dharma. And then finally, Krishna says in chapter 18, Sar Dharman Parityajya, that you leave all your dharma. So how do we explain this to someone who's just starting here?
Yeah, so that is where Varnashrama system comes. We talked about this in the past. So Varnashrama allows you to 0 to 25 get education, get training, 25 to 50 earn a lot of money, sleep on a bed, have sex, do all those kind of things. And after 50, detach, right? Because we all have desires. How are you going to give it up? So if you want to buy a second home, buy it now. But at the point of 50, donate your second home to a temple. So you want to enjoy life, right? So enjoy. Krishna is, that's why Varnashrama system is, there is a plan for enjoyment, right? Because if everybody became a brahmachari, then how will the world
How
run?
will the society run?
Yeah, the society won't run. See, there is this thing that came in my LinkedIn. So now I'm doing LinkedIn preaching because anyhow I'm at home, right? So I keep on writing all these articles, and you see this picture. ISKCON Ujjain is distributing 1,000 lunch packets, right? So if you look here, this is Bhakti Charu Maharaj, who is also associated with our temple. He's our governing body commissioner, who is bending down and looking at this, puris that are being served, right? And if you look at these brahmacharis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of these are well qualified, like bachelor's degree in engineering or medicine. They gave up everything. They are wearing saffron, they're cooking pakodas and kheer and halwa, and they are serving to other people. They are giving out prasadam to people affected by COVID. Now, do you think these people cannot make money like us?
Yeah, they can.
They can. They can probably make more money than us. Like I know some of these people who studied in IIT, if they go to Silicon Valley and start a company, they will surely make 10 times more money than I'm making. But then why are they doing? Are they fools? No, they are not. They've understood this philosophy well, right?
Correct.
That's why they are
They
able to
realize the path.
give. Sorry, go ahead, Rekha.
No, I was just saying that they realized the correct path.
Yeah,
And
they realize that this is the correct path, and we are in the process. We are not fully realized, but it is a gradual process, right? I mean, it's not a one-day process. Yeah, so they are not fools, and neither are we, right? I mean, we are little slow. We are little, we are like tube lights, and they are like whatever the opposite is. Tube light takes a little longer to glow. So we'll also eventually come to that platform, but we better do it in this lifetime. Otherwise, what will we do? Again, we'll take birth. So that is the thing. So your question is very valid. Each one of us has enjoyment propensity. By the way, just because I'm giving the class doesn't mean that I don't have that propensity in me either. I also have many cars. I have only one house, of course, but still I have a house. So I've also, have some attachments. But the point is, by the point of death, we should give those things up. If not, we'll take birth again. And then you will say, oh, I have to earn money for my kids. Did your father buy the house for you in Bellevue, Nitin?
No, Prabhuji.
You bought it with your own money because you have skills. You have done engineering, you came to America, you're working in a big corporation, you're earning good money, you have a house. So it's not like your father bought the house. So same thing with your kids. Give them education, that's it. Let them earn their own money. And then you focus on renunciation. Like Maharaj Janak, he was having this whole kingdom, right? But when his guru came and said, okay, time up, now let's go to the forest, he simply dropped everything and he left. Done. He was a very big king. I mean, he probably has 1,000,000 times more wealth than all of the Microsofties put together. so he was very rich. He had huge kingdom. So yeah, I mean, that is why the Varnashrama system is very important. Brahmacharya, young age you get trained. Grihastha, you enjoy. You build houses, you sleep on a soft bed, you produce kids. But then when time comes, you back off. Done. Just look 3 generations ago in your own family, you will see this pattern. What has happened now? That pattern is broken right now. So that's why we are reinstating this. That is what Prabhupada's movement is all about. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Jisha.
So this the pattern is age determined. Like, as per
No, no,
scriptures, there is an age, there is a number.
I made up those ages, right? Just to make
Oh, okay. Okay.
thing consistent for you. There are brahmacharis who are starting their life at 6 years of age. Like my Guru Maharaj Bhakti Vikas Swami, he started these farm communities in near Vishakhapatnam, near Baroda in Gujarat, near Ujjain, near Karumandura in Tamil Nadu. So he's reinstating this in a big way. So he's taking these 4-5-year-old kids, putting them in a brahmachari ashram. He's saying, you guys don't need Western education at all. You can learn English and math, but your goal is Krishna. So from morning till evening, they are doing Shastra Dhyan. Like these kids, 7-year-old kids can recite the 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita end to end. When I went there, they all came around me and they started reciting Bhagavad Gita. I said, Arey Baba, stop. I don't have so much time. Continuously, this just comes to their mouth like that. Right? So it is possible. So such people may enter Grihastha ashram at 18 years of age and they may exit out at 40 and they take sannyas. One of my godbrother, Guru Bhai, which means that he's the same, he's a disciple of my Guru as well. He took sannyas at 41. He wanted to take at 36, but governing body commission said, you're too young, wait Baba. You wait at least till 40. And then as soon as he turned 40, at around 41, they gave him. So this is not age determined. This is inspiration dependent, right? I just made up those buckets just for, clean division. You live 100 years. So 25, 25, 25, 25.
Got it.
Yeah. So, and it will come too, right? I mean, what happens is once you cross 50, body will stop supporting vital functions. You cannot eat like you ate when you were 30. Right? You cannot run like when you were 30. So gradually the psychology will also change. Oh, now my time is coming to an end. I have to surrender to Lord. I have to kind of gradually give this all to my kids or whoever and focus exclusively on my own personal improvement. But then all of a sudden, when you're 49 years and 11 months and 29 days, you are fully in enjoyment mood, and 50 years and 0 days, you suddenly renounce. Is that possible?
No.
Yeah, so it is gradual. That is why we have temples, right? So people go to temple every Saturday, every Friday, or every day if possible. Get into that habit, right, of thinking of God on a daily basis and chanting. What is the purpose of chanting? Training, right? So when you chant for 2 hours, 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra, you're training your mind. So when the junction comes, that's it.
It's
You're
not
ready,
difficult
actually.
for you to, it's not difficult for you to
It's not very difficult.
move.
Yeah, it's not very difficult.
Yeah.
That is our traditional Vedic dharma, right? I mean, India had perfect varnashrama until about 100 years ago. Last 100 years, we destroyed it. Actually, last 50 years, we totally destroyed it. Now, what are old people doing? They're sitting and watching TV serials.
City.
Yeah,
That's
so
the whole.
we destroyed it actually. We destroyed it on our own. And electricity kills civilization. One of my god sister, Guru Behan, is writing a book, Electricity Kills Civilization. Why? Previously, people used to sleep at 8 o'clock and wake up at 4:30 in the morning. Now, because of electricity, you don't sleep till 11 p.m. And even after 11 p.m., your mobile phone, ping, ping, it keeps on sending text messages. The whole civilization is becoming idiotic. I went to the bathroom, that's what Twitter chat. I just ate lunch. I ate pyaz ki sabji. Now, why on earth should I know whether you ate pyaz or cabbage? How does that matter to me? Keep on pinging 24/7 on Twitter, on Facebook. Right? So we are becoming an idiotic civilization. So we want to get out. I mean, there's smart people who have already gotten out, and we are in the process of getting out of this foolish civilization. But Krishna's plan is that every one of us should get out, right? That's why I introduced, actually, Corona is by design. Durga Devi gave this so that everybody can cool off, right? Because if you think about it, people are like working like crazy. buying things like crazy. So Durga Devi said, you idiots, calm down. I will introduce something where you cannot even leave your home. Sit at home and contemplate. Even if you are an atheist, contemplate. Why on earth am I here? What is this world? Why did Corona happen? What is my goal in life? So everybody has to contemplate. That's what people are doing. So I think every 7 years we should have some disease like this to cool down people. Yeah. I mean, people will beat me if I say that in public. But this is a good thing, actually.
Agree. Agree.
Yeah, you need some discipline, right? Like if you don't have discipline,
Exactly.
you go
Discipline,
crazy.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like people are having parties till 2 a.m. in the morning. So much alcohol. Like I saw 160-year-old buying 4 bottles of vodka in his cart in Costco and taking it home. If that fellow drinks so much, how long do you think he'll last? Right? You cannot abuse your liver too much. How long do you think you'll last? You're killing yourself sooner, actually.
Yeah. Yep.
So these things are good, actually. They discipline people. Okay, Nitin, continue.
As stated in the first verse of the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, one who acts as a matter of duty because he has been ordered to do so by the Supreme Lord, and one who does not seek shelter in the fruits of his activities, anashrita karma phalam, is a true renouncer. Anyone acting under the direction of the Supreme Lord is actually a sannyasi and a yogi, and not the man who has simply taken the dress of the sannyasi or a pseudo yogi.
Yeah. So sannyasi means acting under the direction of Supreme Lord. So you cannot make up your own religion, right? Religion, Srila Prabhupada used to say, religion is the process by which Supreme Lord is pleased. If it doesn't please the Supreme Lord, it's not religion. It is just some entertainment or some show. Or worse, it is pseudo. Pseudo means wrong. It is a dikava yogi. So we don't want pseudo yogis also. I mean, technically, to buy orange cloth, you can go to Walmart. Each yard will be like $6. Buy 4 yards and you put a robe around yourself. So by $24, you can become a sannyasi in America. But that is not sannyas, right? Sannyas means it has to be in the heart. Okay. Any commentary? Any thoughts? It's a very powerful.
Prabhuji, the same verse again came in the 4th chapter also, right? Prabhuji, Janma Karma Chame Divyam.
Yeah.
That is also same. That
Krishna doesn't tell you anything new. Every chapter is the same thing. But why he tells in 18 chapter is he changes the lens. Like if you're a cameraman for a movie, so sometimes if to change the mood, you'll sometimes put a blue lens, sometimes you'll put a red lens. Like especially if there is a crime scene going on, the cameraman will put a red lens. Everything looks red, and then the music will be tan 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 like that, right? So that's what Krishna is doing. Same message is the same always. Is the lens is different. That's it. Again, he'll say this in 16th chapter. Again, he'll say this in 18th chapter. Same thing he will say again and again. Okay, next. Buddhir Jnanam
Jnanam
Asammoham
Asammoha
Shama
Shama
Satyam
Satyam
Damaham
Damaha Samaha
Sukham Dukkham
Sukham Dukham
Bhavo Abhavo
Bhavo
Abhavo, sorry. Bhavo Abhavo
Bhavo
Bhayam
Gayam
Shabhyam
Shabyam
Evacha
Vacham
Ahimsa
Ahimsa
Samata
Sammata
Tuesdays
Truth
is
tapodanam,
Tapodanam,
yasho yashaha,
Yashoyashka
bhavanti,
Bhavanti
bhava,
Bhava
bhutanam,
Bhutanam,
matta eva,
Mattayeva,
pritagvidaha.
Prithagvidaha.
So here Krishna gives a set of qualities, right? So we have to take all these qualities, put in column 1 of an Excel spreadsheets and give ourselves rating on scale of 1 to 10. Why? Because these are the qualities that are dear to Krishna. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. So all these qualities come from Krishna, but sometimes we destroy these qualities because of our own foolishness. So Krishna never said, you become a rascal. No. He created us, but we became rascals along the way. Like that. Okay, so Disha, can you read this, please?
Sure. The different qualities of living entities, be they good or bad, are all created by Krishna, and they are described here. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in a proper perspective, and knowledge refers to understanding what is spirit and what is matter. Ordinary knowledge obtained by a university education pertains only to matter, and it is not accepted here as knowledge. Knowledge means knowing the distinction between spirit and matter. In modern education, there is no knowledge about spirit. They are simply taking care of material elements and bodily needs. Therefore, academic knowledge is not complete. Asamoha, freedom from doubt and delusion, can be achieved when one is not hesitant and when he understands the transcendental philosophy. Slowly but surely he becomes free from bewilderment. Nothing should be accepted blindly. Everything should be accepted with care and with caution. Kasma?
No, Kshama.
Shama, tolerance and forgiveness should be practiced. One should be tolerant and excuse the minor offenses of others. Satyam, Satya,
Satyam.
is
Satyam means
that right?
truthfulness. Yeah.
Satyam, truthfulness, means that facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. Facts should not be mispresented. According to social conventions, it is said that one can speak the truth only when it is palatable to others, but that is not truthfulness. The truth should be spoken in a straightforward way so that others will understand actually what the facts are. If a man is a thief and if people are warned that he is thief, that is truth, although sometimes the truth is unpalatable. One should not refrain from speaking it. Truthfulness demands that the facts be presented as they are for the benefit of others. That is the definition of truth. Con- Control of the senses means that the senses should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment.
Yeah, so let's pause
That
there
is,
for a moment.
Mhm.
Krishna gave us eyes. Eyes are meant to see. And now if you watch 2 movies every day, how is that going to help you? Right? So senses should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment.
Agree.
Continue.
There is no prohibition against meeting the proper needs of the senses, but unnecessary sense enjoyment is detrimental for spiritual advancement. Therefore, the senses should be restrained from unnecessary use. Similarly, one should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts. That is called sama.
So yeah, Sama. So this is very important, right? So to a certain degree, ceasing from physical enjoyment is possible. You may think, okay, instead of watching a movie, I'll go to temple and do some kirtan, or I'll chant maybe 16 rounds, or I'll read the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. But your mind can be, uncontrolled, even though your body is controlled. So your body may be fasting, but the mind is feasting, because mind doesn't need anything to enjoy, right? You can still enjoy even without a single penny in your pocket, or without any facilities, because through the mind you can say, yes, I am a king and I am in my palace, I am doing this. Or if you are a young boy, your mind will think of a young girl. Oh, I like this girl so much, I can do this, I can do that. So mentally he's enjoying, right? Physically he may be doing nothing. So that is more dangerous actually. So sama
Mhm.
means controlling the mind from unnecessary thoughts. So whenever we have a nasty thought, and we all have nasty thoughts from time to time, we have to pull it back to the feet of Krishna, or thinking about some feature of Krishna, or the chanting of the holy name. Like sometimes when people have bad thoughts, they'll immediately take their japmala, sit in a corner and chant one round. So basically dissipates that bad thought like that. So controlling the mind is more important, because mind can feast. Mind doesn't need anything to feast. Like just yesterday, I was thinking of an event that was very pleasant when I was a child, and I was enjoying, right? So mind doesn't need anything, no extraneous thing to enjoy actually. People go to Bahamas and Hawaii because they have too much money. You can actually enjoy Bahamas from where you are. You can just sit. That's what the yogis do. They can experience the whole universe from where they are sitting. The body may be dirty, they may have like an old dhoti from 10 years ago, but their mind is fully enjoying everything that they want to enjoy, right? So you cannot stop your mind. But restraining the mind also from enjoyment, that is even at a higher platform. That is what being said here. Okay,
We're
continue.
talking about mind and body discipline, like body and
Yeah.
mind discipline.
Yeah. So if mind is strong, body discipline is a piece of cake actually. But usually we suffer from
Mhm.
lack of mind discipline. Okay, continue.
Got it. One should not spend one's time pondering over earning money. That is a misuse of the thinking power. The mind should be used to understand the prime necessity of human beings, and, and that should be presented authoritatively. The power of thought should be, sorry, moving. Where am I? Oh, there. The power of thought should be developed in association with persons who are authorities in the scriptures, saintly persons and spiritual masters, and those whose thinking is higher developed.
Yeah, so every
Sukham.
day you can go to YouTube. There are so many ISKCON sannyasis, prime of which is Srila Prabhupada. You can listen to one lecture online. You can, while you are cooking sabji, just put it on your laptop, and on YouTube, the lecture is going on. At least 50% will go into the ears. So every day associating with these who are authorities in the scriptures. So they will tell one point. Every day you learn one point. That's how I learned, right? I mean, over the last 10, 15, 16 years, every day I listen to something, or every other day I listen to something, and then one point I get. The next day I get one more point, like that. So over a period of time, your library of spiritual knowledge becomes pretty large, and then you can attempt to discipline your mind, and later on you can also teach a class like me. I mean, I want all of my students to be teachers, right? So this is not a satsang course, this is a teacher training course. So each one of you has to be a teacher at some point. Some of you may be there next year, some of you may take 3 or 4 years, but each one of you has to be a teacher at some point. Okay, continue.
Sukham, pleasure or happiness, should always be in that which is favorable for the cultivation of the spiritual knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And similarly, that which is painful or which causes distress is that which is unfavorable for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Anything favorable for the development of Krishna consciousness should be accepted, and anything unfavorable should be rejected.
So this is again the same point that I mentioned about 20 minutes ago. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yukta Vairagyam Uchate. So Nirbandha, if something is not tied to Krishna, you give it up. Krishna Sambandha. If something is tied to Krishna, then you don't give it up. Yukta Vairagyam Uchate. You dovetail that. You apply that, whether it's knowledge or wealth or your fame, in service of Krishna. For example, George Harrison was a Beatles, one of the 4 Beatles singers. Beatles were the #1 album for the group in the 1970s. So he got attracted to Krishna consciousness. So what did he do? He applied that, his fame, in the service of Krishna. So let's look and see how he applied. He sang a song called My Sweet Lord, and it is a world famous song. Everybody knows that. So whenever I go on street to distribute Bhagavad Gita, I usually start up with a conversation. Do you know the Beatles? Yes. Or do you know George Harrison? Yes, yes. He sang this song, My Sweet Lord. Go to YouTube and hear it. And then I tell them something and then give them a book chant and be happy like that. My sweet Lord, George Harrison live. He was very famous back then.
I've been obsessed with belts for a long time.
This
I
is
wear
an
belts every
ad.
day, and there was like 3 things that always showed me.
So I'm skipping forward. First it starts with Hallelujah, and then it changes the tune to Hare Krishna. So he was very brilliant. So he had his chorus singers sometimes say Hallelujah and sometimes say Hare Krishna. So very subtly, he was planting this in the minds of the audience, right? So he was a good preacher. So whatever we have, anything favorable for development of Krishna consciousness should be accepted. So when he went to Srila Prabhupada and said, how should I use my skills? Should I quit everything and join the temple? He said, no, you have such a fantastic skill in singing. So you sing, but then you sing about Krishna. So which is what he did, right? And he gave funding for the Krishna book. Like if you go to the temple, you'll see a book called Krishna book. It's a $10 or $15 book. And he originally funded the production of that book back in the 70s. like that. Okay, continue, Nisha Mataji.
Bhava. Birth should be understood to refer to the body. As far as the soul is concerned, there is neither birth nor death. That we have discussed in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Birth and death apply to one's embodiment in the material world. Fear is due to worrying about the future. A person in Krishna consciousness has no fear because by his activities he is sure to go back to the spiritual sky, back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, this future is very therefore his future is very bright. Others, however, do not know what their future holds. They have no knowledge of what the next life holds. So
That's what's happening right now in America, right? So they don't know when they'll be hit with corona. They don't know when they will die, what will happen to them after they die, what will happen to them before they die. Maybe they'll lose their job, they'll lose their mortgage, they'll lose their house, home. No, it's already happening actually. Some people are not paying rents. That's what I hear, because they don't have money to pay rents. So slowly landlords will default on their mortgages. It's happening in Manhattan. Like some of the people, they are unable to pay their rents, like even including like big chains like Marriott in near the Times Square. They are saying that they are in financial trouble already, because for the last 20 days, nobody's staying in their hotel. If you have 500 rooms at $150 a night, that's a big amount, right? All of a sudden, if you don't have any income, how are you going to pay the landlord? So yeah, they're in great fear and anxiety. But if you know that your destination is clear, that you'll go back to Krishna, there is no fear. Maybe, you'll be kicked out of your apartment and you'll have to live in a smaller apartment or live in a trailer. But still, like one of my godbrothers, he got kicked out. He's living in a trailer in one of the temples. So basically he has a truck and then there's a trailer at the back. He and his wife and his kid are sleeping in the trailer. They're saying, okay, whatever Krishna gives us. They are not at all unhappy. They're super happy, very comfortable. Wherever Krishna puts them, they're very happy like that. Okay, continue.
Therefore, his future is very bright. Others, however, do not know. I read this already. Anyways, others, however, do not know what their future holds. They have no knowledge of what the next life holds. So they are therefore in constant anxiety. If we don't want to get, if we want to get free from anxiety, then the best course is to understand Krishna and be situated always in Krishna consciousness. In that way, we are free from all fear. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 11,
Canto 11, chapter 2, verse 37.
Thank you. It is stated, Bhayam, I cannot.
So the way you do it is you break it into multiple pieces. DVI is Dvi, TI is T, Dviti, YA is Ya, Dvitiya. Dvitiya means two. Eka, Dvitiya, Tritiya, like that. Bhinni, Yesha, Taha, like that. So you break it down into 6 or 7 segments, so it's easy.
Okay. Dvitiya, Bhini, Vesha, Tha. Sayat.
Syat.
Sayat.
SNY is Sya, and A with a dash on the top is so Syat.
Syat. Okay. Are there alphabets like this that we can learn from?
No, if you go to your book Bhagavad Gita as it is, if you look in the appendix, there is a pronunciation guide there.
Okay, I will do that. So can you please read it properly rather than me butchering the word completely? Please.
Excuse me? Can I read?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, please. Help.
Fear is caused by the absorption in the illusionary energy. But those who are free from the illusionary energy...
It's not illusionary, it is illusory. Illusion means...
sorry.
Illusion is something that doesn't exist, but we think it exists. Illusory means the fact that it is illusion is illusory. Yeah.
Those who are confident that they are not the material body, that they are spiritual parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who are therefore engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Godhead, have nothing to fear. Their future is very bright. The fear is a condition of persons who are not in Krishna consciousness. Abhayam, fearlessness, is possible only for one in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, let's dwell on this.
Ahimsa.
Yeah, so just pause there for a moment. So we are confident that we are not the material body and we are the part of spiritual parts of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And those who are therefore engaged in the service, transcendental service. Transcendental means something that is above goodness, passion, and ignorance. They have nothing to fear. So if you're always engaged in Seva of the Lord, right now we are engaged in Seva of the Lord, reading his Bhagavad Gita, Davani. You have nothing to fear. There is no fear when you are engaged in Seva of the Lord. Such a person's future is very bright and they become abhayam. Bhayam means fear. Bhay. They say it, bhay, bhayam. When you add, it becomes opposite of that. Means no fear. Abhayam means fearlessness. It is only possible if we are in Krishna consciousness, consciousness of Supreme Lord Krishna. If you are materially conscious, there is fear. So, yeah, we should become abhayam. Okay, this happens, that's good. That happens, that's good. Well, once there was a story, right? So, the king and his assistant were going. So, the assistant said, King, why are you always riding the horse and I am walking next to you? I want to ride the horse now. So King smiled and said, okay, go ahead. After a little while in the forest, dacoits came. Dacoits are robbers, thieves, right? They saw the person on the horse must be the king. So they arrested him and took him away. And the real king escaped without any problem. So you may think that, oh, I have come into a situation where my position is gone. My fame is gone. My name is gone. But that might actually be a good position for us. Right? So like in 2014, 18,000 people were laid off from Microsoft. 18,000. So people thought it was very bad. And then these guys went in, some of them went in and joined other smaller firms, startup companies, and they became more wealthy than the people who stayed back. Right? So you may think that something bad might actually be good for you. So we don't know the plan of the Lord, right? Or some of them got sick and tired of the material world and became full-time brahmacharis or devotees. So what happened to them? Their path to Godhead is even faster now. So for them, losing their job is actually a good thing. Right? So you never know. So we may think from our perspective that it is something is good and something is bad. But Lord has a different plan for all of us. So we should just simply follow the plan of the Lord. That is the best and easiest way to fight it. Okay. Go ahead, Yoga.
Ahimsa, non-violence, means that one should not do anything which will put others into misery or confusion. Material activities that are promised by so many politicians, sociologists, philanthropists, etc., do not produce very good results because the politicians have no transcendental vision. They do not know what is actually beneficial for human society. Ahimsa means people should be trained in such a way that full utilization of the human body can be achieved.
Yeah, so
The
pause
human
there for a
body.
minute. Yeah, pause there. So Mahatma Gandhi's definition of ahimsa is like you don't do any himsa, right? But here, this definition is even higher than that. Means people should be trained in such a way that full utilization of human body can be achieved. Human body is not meant to just make money or buy a big building. Human body is meant for what? Spiritual realization, to understand that there is a higher goal in life. So ahimsa means what we are doing right now in the class is ahimsa, right? We are training ourselves in such a way that our full potential can be realized. That is ahimsa. Continue, Yoga.
The human body is meant for spiritual realization. So any movement or any commissions which do not further that end commit violence on the human body. That which furthers the future spiritual happiness of the people in general is called non-violence. Samatha.
It's not samatha. If you look at A, the first A, there is no dash on the top. So it is a.
Yeah.
If there is a dash, it is a. So samatha.
Samatha. Equanimity refers to the freedom from attachment and aversion. To be the very much attached or to be the very much detached is not the best. This material world should be accepted without attachment or aversion.
Yeah, stop there for a moment. So sometimes people will say, I hate this material world, so they'll take sannyas, run off to Himalayas. That's not good. And sometimes people, they are 90 years old and they're still attached. They still want to play golf and somehow hang on to this material world. That is not good either, right? So neither attachment nor aversion. So that which is favorable for prosecuting Krishna consciousness should be accepted. This is the key word, right? So you can be very rich. Use the richness in service of Krishna consciousness. For example, Alfred Ford Jr., who is the great grandson of Henry Ford, who is the owner of the Ford company, gave his company to professional management and is building a temple in Mayapur in India, right? So that is favorable for prosecuting Krishna consciousness. So he moved to Mayapur and he is letting his family business being run by professional managers. So that is one great example. Right? It's not like he has to be poor. Oh, no. Devotee has to be poor. No, he's still wealthy. But how is he using his time? How is he using his wealth? He gave like $40 million for that temple construction. The total temple budget is more than 200 million. So he's using his money very well. Okay, continue.
That which is favorable for prosecuting Krishna consciousness should be accepted. That which is unfavorable should be rejected. That is, a person in Krishna consciousness has nothing to reject and nothing to accept, save in terms of its usefulness in the prosecution of Krishna consciousness. Tusti, satisfaction, means that one should not be eager to gather more and more material goods by unnecessary activity. One should be satisfied with whatever is obtained by the grace of the Supreme Lord. That is called satisfaction.
Yeah, pause there for a moment. Yeah, pause there. So, question to the class. Do you see anybody who's satisfied right now?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
more, right? Yeah. So when there were bullock carts, people were happy. Then came cars. Then came better cars. Then came faster cars. Now you have Teslas. People are happy. No, now they want drones. So this is more and more material goods by unnecessary activity. You need some goods. If you don't have a car, how are you going to come to temple? Yeah, but if you want a $100,000 car, what's the point? Right? So there has to be satisfaction. Okay, yoga.
tapas means
Austerity. Austerity means like
austerity,
you are living
or
less, you are eating less. That is called austerity. Like when you fast, eat only once a day. That is called austerity.
or penance. There are many rules and regulations in the Vedas which apply here, like rising early in the morning and taking a bath. Sometimes it's very troublesome to rise early in the morning, but whatever voluntary trouble one may suffer in this way is called penance. Similarly, there are prescriptions for fasting on certain days of the month. One may not be inclined to practice such as fasting, but because of his determination to make advancement in the science of Krishna consciousness, he should accept such bodily troubles when they are recommended. However, one should not fast unnecessarily or against Vedic injunctions. One should not fast for some political purpose. That is described in the Bhagavad Gita as fasting in ignorance. And anything done in ignorance or passion does not lead to spiritual advance. Everything done in the mode of goodness does advance one, however, and fasting done in terms of Vedic injunctions enriches one in spiritual knowledge.
Like yesterday was
As far,
yeah, 1 minute. Yesterday was Sri Ram Navami. Many of us fasted. That is for progress in spiritual life. And there will definitely be progress, right? You will, by fasting, you realize that you are the soul and not the body, because you're not feeding the body, but you're still there. So how come? Because you're different from the body. So you grow spiritually. But sometimes people, politicians, they will do, 2-day fast, 3-day fast for some andolan, as they call in India. So they will, put a tent, and then 3 or 4 people will sit in the tent and start fasting. You have to give our demands. You have to raise our salary, or you have to, do this or that. They will threaten the government for that. So that fasting will not spiritually increase anybody's potential. It's just material. Okay, go ahead.
As far as charity is concerned, one should give 50% of his earnings to some good cause. And what is a good cause? It is that which is conducted in the terms of Krishna consciousness. That is not only a good cause, but the best cause.
Yeah, pause there.
Because Krishna.
Yeah, pause there. So this is coming directly from Nectar of Instruction. Rupa Goswami says that 50% of the wealth should be given for spiritual purpose, building a temple, maybe buying Bhagavad Gita books and giving spiritual knowledge to other, or anything in related. Or maybe you're putting more than required and then distributing prasadam to all the neighbors so that everybody else will become Krishna conscious, like that. So that is not only a good cause, but the best cause. Why? Because Krishna is good, his cause is also good. And sometimes people have a difficulty with this, right? If I give 50% to some good cause, then what will I eat? That is because our social structure has changed so much that almost every dollar you earn after you pay taxes will be taken away. Some goes to Amazon, some goes to Walmart, some goes to Costco, electricity bill, water bill, phone bill, this bill. But in the previous days, you didn't have so many bills, right? You had very simple life. So one of the key things of Krishna consciousness is we should simplify our lives. Technically, I could have bought a bigger house, right? Because I was working for Microsoft for many years, 10 years, very good salary. But I didn't go. I said, whatever I bought 16, 17 years ago, I'll just stay wherever I am. Because you go to a bigger house, what will happen? More electricity bill, more water bill, more taxes. Taxes are very atrocious in Seattle area, right? So what will happen? Then you'll have not you will not have any money to give to a good cause. But each one of us could either build a temple or at least support some temple that is being constructed in Krishna consciousness. So temple is like a university, right? Temple is where we learn Bhagavad Gita, we understand the position of the Lord, our position, associated with like-minded people. So temple is a good place to be, right? Otherwise, you cannot have the same conversation in a library or in a bar. No, you cannot have that same conversation. So right now, because of Corona, we are doing it on internet. Otherwise, we would be doing it in the temple class itself. So yeah, think about it. Think how to simplify your life. Because if you don't simplify your life, we will all be working like a donkey till the last day of our life, right? Because there's so many things. Amazon has millions of items for you to. No matter how much you buy, you're still not satisfied because there is something else. So we should focus on simplifying our lifestyle so that we can focus on Krishna and use some of our wealth in Krishna's glories. So think about it. It's very important. You don't have to do it right away. But between now and the next 15 years, you have to do something grand for Krishna. What that is, it is up to you. But you have to do something grand for Krishna. Okay, Yoga?
That is not only a good cause, but the best cause. Because Krishna is good, his cause is also good. Thus, charity should be given to a person who is engaged in Krishna consciousness. According to Vedic literature, it is enjoined that charity should be given to the Brahmanas. Brahmanas. This practice is still followed, though not very nicely in the terms of Vedic injunction. Still, the injunction is that charity should be given to Brahmanas. Why? Because they're engaged in higher cultivation of spiritual knowledge. A Brahmana is supposed to devote his whole life into understanding Brahman.
Brahma janatiti brahmanaha.
Brahma janatini brahmaha. One who knows Brahman is called a Brahmayana. Thus, charity is offered to the Brahmayanas because they're always engaged in higher spiritual service and have no time to earn their livelihood. In Vedic literature, charity is also to be awarded to one in the renounced order of life, the sannyasi. The sannyasis beg from door to door, but not for money, but for missionary purposes.
Yeah, pause there. Pause there. So missionary purpose means for preaching. So Brahmanas and sannyasis ask money from you so that you can learn about the purpose of life. So they'll come, they'll ask for some money, they'll give you some jnana, and then they will move on. But of course, now the door-to-door begging is not permitted anymore. So that's why we have a hundi in the temple, and knowledge is given on Zoom and video conferencing. So it is not the same as it was in the past. Okay, continue, Yoga.
The system is that they go from door to door to awaken the householders from the slumber of ignorance. Because the householders are engaged in family affairs and have forgotten their actual purpose of life, awaking their Krishna consciousness. It is the business of the sannyasis to go as beggars to the householders and encourage them to be Krishna consciousness. As it is said in the Vedas, one should awake and achieve what is due him in this human form of life.
So
this knowledge.
So what is due to us in human form of life? Open question to everyone.
Brain development, self-development.
Liberated.
Yeah, development of the soul, and eventually liberation is what is due to us. So it is our right. We have to get liberated. But if we don't do the steps properly, we won't be liberated. Okay, Yoga?
This knowledge and method is distributed by the sannyasis. Hence, charity is to be given to the renouncer of life, to the Brahmayanas and similar good causes, not to any whimsical cause. Yasas, fame,
Yes.
should be.
Whenever there is a line on top of S, it is Sha, it's not Sa. So,
Okay.
yes.
Yashas, fame, should be according to Lord Chaitanya, who said that a man is famous when he is known as a great devotee. That is real fame. If one has become a great man in Krishna consciousness and it is known, then he is truly famous. One who does not have such fame is infamous. All these qualities are manifest throughout the universe, the human society, and the society of the demigod. There are many forms of humanity on the other planets, and these qualities are there. Now, for one who wants to advance in Krishna consciousness, Krishna creates all these Krishna creates all these qualities, but the person who develops them himself from within. One who engages in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord develops all the qualities all the good qualities as arranged by the Supreme Lord. Of what we can find, good or bad, the origin is Krishna. Nothing can manifest itself in this material world which is not in Krishna. That is knowledge. Although we know things differently situated, we realize everything flows from Krishna.
Yeah, so everything comes from Krishna. Good and bad actually comes from Krishna. But then what do? We cultivate the good qualities and we give up the bad qualities. Person develops these qualities from within. So we need to gain these qualities from within ourselves. Gain, cultivate, and improve on a daily basis. So there are many qualities that are mentioned in this verse. Right? Intelligence, knowledge, etc. All these qualities have to be cultivated. They have to be grown in us. So although they come from Krishna, it is not automatic. Krishna created the qualities. How we develop them, we have to do it from inside. Any questions?
Prabhu, I have a question about Desha here again. I have a question about the good and the bad. It's explained in a very black and white situation what is truth over here and how truth should be told.
Yeah, so truthfulness, they mentioned that, right? It was there in the earlier. So truthfulness, Satyam Uvacha, Priyam Uvacha. So you have to be truthful. You have to say it nicely, but facts should not be misrepresented, right? According to social conventions, even if somebody is ugly, we say, oh, you look good. Why? Because you don't want to displease that person. But truth is truth. Truth cannot be hidden, especially when it comes to spiritual matters, right? So what is the truth when it comes to spiritual matters? That you are not the body, you are the soul. You need to get out of this cycle of birth and death. But if you spend all of your time working for somebody, buying things, then you will not have time to do that. So at some point, you have to cut out, right? Just like I was giving you the pictures of these brahmacharis. They cut out. They said, I don't want this nonsense. I'll just focus on what is most important, right? So the truth should be said that actually what we are doing most of the time is useless, right? For example, you work for a corporation. I worked for Microsoft for 10 years. Then I got laid off. So clock reset again. So whatever I learned, Microsoft technologies is a waste of time. Whatever relationships I developed with my colleagues is a waste of time. Yeah, I got some money, but most of what I invested is a waste. That is the truth. But if you tell that to somebody who's joining a company, they'll say, you're crazy. I want to grow my career. Now I've seen my career grow and get totally destroyed. So that is the truth. Whatever you invest in the material world is a waste. Whatever you
Got it.
invest in the spiritual processes stays with you life after life, right? So whatever punya you acquired this lifetime, next lifetime will continue. That is the truth. So that is the truth has to be said in a nice way, but you cannot hide the truth. You cannot say goal of life is to make more money in Microsoft, and then what? If you make more money, then you pay more taxes also, right?
Yeah.
Into a higher tax bracket. So a lot of the rich people are realizing that, and then what they do after a while, they stop working in America. And that's why immigrants are getting jobs because those people say, why should I work so hard and give so much taxes? I will stop working. There are a section of Americans who don't want to work, period, right? They have worked, they'll work till 30 or 40. With that savings, they'll live the rest of their life. That's it, done. So truth is that we are meant, the human body is meant for self-realization and pursuit of liberation. And if we are not using that, then we are no better than donkeys, actually. Ahara bhayamaitunam cha, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Samanyetat pashubir naranam. Means Nara and Pashus, humans and animals have these 4 common things. So there's nothing great about us. Dharmo hi eko adhika vishesho. Only dharma is something special for us compared to animals. Dharma hina pashubir samanam. If somebody is not practicing dharma, they are like animals. Like out of 8 billion population on this planet, most of them are behaving like animals, right? You ask them, what is the goal of life? Make money. What do you do with that money? Buy things, eat, drink, sleep, and be merry. That's it. They have no goal in life. So, dharmahina pashubir samanam. So we have to get out of this. If we don't, then somebody else will call us an animal. So before they do that, we have to get out of this, strange situation that we are in. And then again, as I said, you cannot get out in one day unless you are like, you don't have any other attachments. Like the brahmacharis, they'll say, okay, I don't want to get married. I'll just stay alone, like that. But if you are married, then you have a different thing. Your exit is around the age of 50, when you have raised your kids to a certain degree. It's not like then you have to raise your grandkids and then great grandkids. Like one Mataji was telling me, oh, my granddaughter is not getting married. I am very worried. I said, did you marry your kids? Yes. Then let your kids marry their kids. Why are you worried about their kids? This is the foolishness, right? Height of foolishness. That she wants to marry her granddaughter and then see great grandkids.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and not one. I met 2 such ladies, 3 such ladies actually.
Yeah, self-development is the key. Mental discipline is the key.
Yeah, so people are worrying about all these other things. Let you give your kids also a chance, let them also do some duties. Once you get your kids married, that's it. Wash your hands off. Done. 100% of your time should be for Krishna. But it won't happen, like the ramp will be too high, right? So you have to build a gradual ramp between now and when you come to that. So right now you are 10% surrendered, like that. And then once the kids are married, then you are 100% surrendered, like that.
Yeah.
But you could do a lot right now, actually, because there's no guarantee that we will live till we are 50, 55, right? We could die because of tomorrow. So we should be Krishna conscious today. Varnashrama is just a social structure, but we should be renounced internally even today, right? No attachments, no husband, no attachment.
No. When you gave me the number, I was like, okay, fine, I'm not late. I'm there, but I'm not late. I was like, okay, fine, I have some buffer period. It wasn't that, I should start only at 50. I was like, okay, fine, I'm not late in waking up at least.
Yeah. No, it is never too late, right? Because you may accelerate faster than others. Like I've seen people in the first 6 months, they were convinced. Within a year, they said, I'm not getting married. I will just be full-time Krishna Bhakta. There are other people who joined, became a brahmachari, spent 5-6 years in brahmachari. Then they said, no, I would like to actually experience the family life. Got married, regretted being married, but they are executed after 25 years, right? Because now you are married, you have kids, so you have to raise them properly. That becomes your number one duty. And then while doing all this, you're still Krishna conscious. So you're not saying that you give up, right? So you're still, and I've seen cases. So some people who remained full-time devotees, like our temple pujari, right? Rasavati Mataji. She doesn't have any other thing. I asked her once, so what will you do next in life? She said, abhi kuch nahi, abhi upar jana hai bas. So she's, for the next, till she dies, she will just be serving Krishna. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, so there are all kinds of people. And some people accelerate fast, some people accelerate slowly. So what can I do? I cannot force anybody, right? I can give them the information. After that point, it is up to them. Actually, my spiritual teachers have told me, yeah, you teach others, but focus on yourself too. So when are you going to get renounced? So it works both ways. So I'm working on my renunciation, and I'm teaching other people to also follow the same path. If they don't take it, it's not my problem. I've done my duty as a teacher.
Yeah.
You can take the horse to the water.
Yep. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, let's chant now. Most important thing is chanting. Okay, Sri Krishna Chaitanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Prabhu Nityanandam.
Shri Advaita.